Hey everyone, Tony G. So in this video we are going to be doing a pec stretch. Now depending on where your arms are positioned, you're either going to target more your pec major fibers or your pec minor fibers. That being said, you never want to necessarily negate one as compared to the other, but you typically do want to go to whichever one is tighter and work on releasing that. Okay, that being said, for this specific stretch, you do need a long foam roller. There is no way to do this with the short roller, as you can kind of mess up your spine when you're doing this, okay? Because we're going to actually be laying on top of the foam roller, okay? Now, this does require a certain level of balance. However, I have faith in a lot of you, and you can figure this out. As long as you're doing this on a safe place, be it the floor. You never want us to be doing this on an elevated platform where you can fall over or roll over. And if you are doing it on there, make sure you're doing it with a friend so that you can do this safely as possible, okay? That being said, I'm going to change it up because I do need to have some room to stretch out my arms for this specific video. In the past, I have been doing these all in the long way, but for this one, we're going to just do it this way, okay? So, first thing you want to do, sit on top of your foam roller, okay? Now, the foam roller should run, and I'll do it this way, the length of your spine, okay? So, if I'm getting on this roller, it basically is going to be my entire spine, including my tailbone, okay? Now, sometimes, as an added bonus, you can use the foam roller to help relieve some cervicogenic tension through the upper parts of your suboccipital muscle group. But for some people, you do have to be careful depending on what's going on. I don't necessarily want to show that, but it is an option. Sometimes when you're on the foam roller, if you bring the base of your skull to just literally where kind of like the tip of your skull starts, and you put it on the edge of the roller, right? So it would be, gotta get closer here for this video. Let's use a little bit, right? It would literally be here. So what you're doing, and if we look at the spine here, what you're doing is all these muscles that are directly underneath the base of your skull, you're actually putting the foam roller right there to help release it, okay? Now, when it releases all those muscles, you can get a nice good rush of blood into the area. As always, if you're getting numbness, tingling, stop. This is not a good sign. Go get it checked out by somebody who knows what they're doing, okay? But that being said, let's get into our pec stretch. Now, typically, like most of the stretches, we're going to do anywhere between 30 seconds and 2 minutes. We're going to sit on top of our foam roller, and we're going to just lay back on top of it, making sure that we're nice and comfortable, okay? Now, if we wanted to target our pec minor fibers, we would have our arms pointing down. If we wanted to target our pec major fibers, we would be coming up. Now, typically, I'm always going to say go towards the area of highest tension and work from there, and then kind of play around. But sometimes, changing the angle can actually change the stretch. If, while you're doing this, though, you're having shoulder pain, sharp, stabbing, shearing pain into your shoulder, stop. Sometimes just the forces of gravity bringing your arm down and your humeral head forward can be too much for the shoulder to take. That being said, as long as you're not having pain, we can proceed. So, we're going to hang out here for 2 minutes, just kind of relaxing and feeling the stretch out. Now, this is perhaps one of the more boringest stretch when it comes to the foam roll series because it's not as active as some of the other ones, but it is critically as important, okay? Again, let's go back to the posture. Everyone tends to have a kyphotic posture, shoulders rolled forward due to kind of cell phone life, computer life, and just working in this century. That being said, you want to make sure that you are opening up your chest, okay? A lot of shoulder and shoulder pain and neck pain tends to be generated from these dysfunctional postures that our body's not really used to. So you got to make sure that you have a practice where you're opening up your posture, just kind of opening up the chest, and just, you know, feeling the stretch, okay? So my hands have kind of been in this area for a little bit, and I'm starting to not really feel any tension. So I'm going to raise them up just until I feel any tension there. Not really feeling much. Let me bring my arms down a little bit. Now, the tendency is you're going to want to let your arms drop to the floor. And there's nothing wrong with this as long as you're feeling the stretch. But if your arms are on the floor and you're not feeling anything, well, then you're really just wasting your time. So sometimes what I'll do is I'll have my hands just slightly hover above the floor to where I am getting a pec stretch. Some people are going to contest saying that you're activating the pec because these are like the hugging muscles. To do this, however, if it does intensify the stretch, you could be using different fibers of your pec, not necessarily the pec minor fibers. Now, people who do suffer from shoulder pain, you're actually going to like this lower position as compared to the upper one, just because sometimes you could get a lot of grinding, especially because if you are externally rotating your shoulder and you bring your arm up in a 90-degree angle, this is going to be maximal contact for your humeral head, and this can actually irritate the shoulder. So if this is you, and that was 2 minutes, if this is you, you want to make sure that your palms are facing down and you're kind of hanging out in this position. Once this progressively gets easier, you can gradually go up. However, if you do start getting that kind of front shoulder sharp stabbing shearing pain, stop. This is perhaps not the best stretch for you, and give it a try. Okay, so that, everyone, is a pec major / pec minor stretch. Give it a try. I hope it helps. As always, everyone, please make sure to hit the like and subscribe button, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.